Hi everybody, and welcome to this Webinar Wednesday remote video production. So this is a Webinar Wednesday from Archiware's series of webinars, and today we're joined by Scale Logic. My name's David Fox, down there on the left hand side of the screen. I'm in London in the UK working with Archiware, and with me today I've got Daryl and Al from Scale Logic. Hi guys.
Hi Dave, how are you?
Good, thanks. Good. Thanks for being here today. So just a little bit of housekeeping up front. The GoToWebinar control panel, that has a questions box in it, right? So if any questions occur to you during the course of the webinar, you tap them in there. We've got a panel of experts able to answer questions across all of the topics that we're going to cover in this webinar. So put some questions in there. We'll take some questions Q&A live at the end. The other thing to say is this webinar is going to be recorded, or is being recorded rather. So that means that everybody that's registered will get a link to a page on the Scale Logic site, where you'll be able to view both video of the whole thing or specifically the demo. So you'll be able to share that with colleagues, people that haven't been able to attend today. So with that, I'm going to hand you over to Al, who's going to begin proceedings by talking about some of the Scale Logic products that we're going to be looking at in a demo very shortly. Over to you, Al.
Thank you, Dave, and thank you to all our reseller and end user attendees for making time for this event. We really appreciate your time. Hope everybody, your teams and families are safe through this pandemic. So Scale Logic has been in business for a very long time, and the core team of Scale Logic has 30 years of experience maintaining media-driven workflows. Now, when I say 30 years, I don't mean a cumulative 30 years, but individually, the core team members have spent 30 years doing nothing but optimizing and configuring media workflows. We're a 100% channel-centric company. 100% of our business does go through the channel. And the channel partner success is our success because that's our sales arm. We don't do anything direct. And we have thousands of installations across multiple markets worldwide. If you could get the next screen, David, please.
Sure, there you go.
Thanks, Dave. So, we take great pride in our Interop Lab in our headquarters in Minneapolis. We have Interop Lab. You can see a small picture of that on the right-hand side of the slide. We have physical 2 petabytes of storage running that are a combination of spinning disks and SSDs. We have every single NLE, every single workflow tool like Archiware and a bunch of MEMS, a bunch of archives, a bunch of ingest devices running there. All the NLEs running there, and Windows, Mac, and Linux workstations. We have won some significant deals against bigger competitors purely because of how we use this lab. We use this lab as a remote POC. So, should any of you have any questions about how Scale Logic works with any particular, for example, Resolve, right, on Fiber, or Resolve on 100 gig, we can actually run it for you and produce actual metrics and benchmarks. Nothing goes out from Scale Logic unless it's being tested and working 100% from Scale Logic. So we take real pride in our Interop Lab, and we can offer it to our partners or end users as a sales tool. So if you're considering Scale Logic storage in any way and you'd like to see how it works with anything that you have in your workflow, we'd be happy to set that up and provide you with access. Thanks, Dave.
Excellent. So just a little bit of backgrounding info on Archiware for those that are not familiar with it. So Archiware is a software product that handles various data management tasks, comes from Germany, sold worldwide. We've been around for 20 years and we have many thousands of installations in operation worldwide. The product, broadly speaking, is what we call data management. So this means archive, backup, and replication of your data. It's very heavily used in the broadcast space because that's where the big data is really created, and that's where the big problems occur with trying to manage the quantity of data that people have. The product is cross-platform, meaning it runs on Mac, Windows, Linux. It runs on various NAS devices, and it can be deployed in the cloud. We have a AWS Marketplace version of the product for you to fire up in the cloud. The whole thing is configured via a web-based administration interface, and we'll see a little bit of that in our demo. So this is just a little overview of what we are about to see in a live demo. And for this, I'm going to introduce you to Daryl, who is going to take control. Well, no, actually, he's not going to take control of the screen. My apologies. So what I'm going to do is just take this slide down, and you can see in the middle of this diagram, we begin with the remote access portal. Now, you'll get a bit more of an explanation about what this is in technical terms, but I'm sitting here in London, and I have my web browser open here, and I am pointing at Scale Logic's remote access server. And in this scenario, I've got some video footage sitting on a folder on my desktop here that I've just shot. And this needs to get over to the States to be involved in some editing in an NLE. So using this remote access portal web interface, I can simply drag my Skater folder over here. And although I'm sitting on a fairly slow home broadband connection, as many of us are these days, you can see this is uploading at a reasonable pace here. So whilst that's uploading, I'm going to switch screens and introduce you again to Daryl, who is going to pick up the files that I'm just uploading over to him and then complete the workflow. So over to you, Daryl.
All right, thanks a lot. So what David just explained to you is a process of sharing, link sharing from using the remote access portal from Scale Logic with your customer base. So you'll be able to use your production storage, take a folder, share that via email. The customer can get that email, they can upload files, they can download files, and it's all done securely over HTTPS. One of the great benefits to that is that you're giving the customer the access right into the production folder where it needs to go. So you're limiting your access time and making sure that the files go exactly where they need to go. What you're seeing here is me. I'm at my home, and now I want to pick up and start to use those files. And I'm using the Scale Logic Wrap application. This application is twofold. Number one, it will point to a local SSD that I use at my home or my remote location. That SSD can be 1 terabyte, 2, 4, basically sized whatever size we want. That local drive can also be Thunderbolt, or it could be USB 3. It should be fast enough for doing the resolution that you need to do. And it should also be sized to do the size of project that you want to be able to do. Because we're syncing with checkboxes here, we're working on the collaboration project today. So collaboration is coming in, and then the activity, we're seeing those files that David has been bringing in. We see those coming in here as new files. So the two pieces to this, to the wrap client, is the first one is checking boxes and syncing your on-prem storage to local. Let's say if I'm done with the demo project and I don't want that to consume space, I can simply hit apply and have that synchronized back out. The second job of this is the activity monitor. You want to make sure that your important saves on your Adobe project really get saved back to the server, and it's all automatic. The editor does not have to do anything, but sometimes you do want to hit this and make sure that your project saves successfully saved. So those are the two aspects to using the wrap client. First one is syncing to a local cache drive that's fast enough and big enough to accomplish your task. The second one is an activity monitor to ensure that your important work is being synced back to the on-prem storage. So we've had our Skater, our new chute, come in. I see it automatically here with our media browser. So now I'm in the media browser. We do not have enough time to go through all aspects of media browser. We've got a good online tutorial, but today I'll just come in and use it to just make a simple sub with some in and out points, and then I will use it to send this to my open Adobe Premiere project that I'm working on. The key to the media browser is that it as well is pointed its cache back to the on-prem storage as well. So everything I'm doing in here, metadata, tagging, in and out points, this is all getting synced through the wrap client back to the on-prem storage so that anyone worldwide could see these changes occurring. I'm going to send that, go ahead and send that to my Adobe Premiere project running. And then from in there, we can pick those files up, use it in our project, and then save our project. And then if we're working on a tight deadline, we want to go back to that wrap client, make sure that that did get synced. So that's what it looks like to get the full workflow through there. You can see that the big collaboration project now has been synced back to the on-prem storage. Very versatile in what it's doing. It is using your home internet to accomplish the syncing locally. And then using the media browser, folks can be all collaborating into one shared metadata location. I'm going to switch gears.
Daryl, that as the remote party in this file transfer, you just sent me a link. I clicked the link and I didn't need to run any wrap client software. I just clicked the link, it opens in a browser. I drag my folder straight into the browser and you got the files. So it can be really, really frictionless from that kind of point of view.
Yes, you can work with your clients. You've got full administration control of whether they can just upload, download, delete, and do things like that. If you want just a Dropbox type upload, you've got that capability. And then once you're using the editor, any on-prem storage can be added to the wrap server and be presented out, and that is up to the administrator as well. What will be accessed. So I've come into our team viewer access into our lab. We're looking at the identical storage NAS. This happens to be an NX2 using the media browser, and we'll just show a little bit about the archive piece. Now when we're finished with our project, using the Archiware built into the NX2, we've set up a way to archive your files after you're done, and we've integrated that with the Backblaze system. So using that, you can have an automated way, editor-driven archive, click and drag, or at a folder level, simply send that to Backblaze, hit the start job. Restoring files is easily done within the Archiware panel. You've got login, and then once you're logged in, it's just a very simple restore button. And in the restore button, you can browse your archive system. These happen to be on Backblaze, and then you can go into that. And then we have also metadata and proxy thumbnails that can be generated, so you can actually see a rendition of what your files are, so that you know you're restoring the correct ones. And then you can add those to a restore job, much like a shopping cart checkout procedure. So with that, we went kind of fast. We have limited time here, but we wanted to show NX2 on-prem storage, utilizing the Archiware software inside, connected to Backblaze, the ability to work with customers and have share linking with your storage, and to securely access your on-prem storage remotely by using a sync process to get the job done. Thanks, David.
Excellent, thank you, Daryl. Right, so I'm going to grab the screen. Let's make myself the presenter again, like so. and then grab the slide and put this back up. Okay, so what we're going to do now is just talk a little bit more in detail about the Scale Logic products. So for that, back to you, Al.
Thanks, Dave. So RAP stands for Remote Access Portal. It's a 1U Linux appliance that's a gateway for the remote edit clients to access the on-prem storage, right? So this sits between the firewall and the on-prem storage. It supports Active Directory and LDAP integration, right? With the RAP, the remote edit clients, no matter where they're sitting, access the content on the on-prem storage, just like they would be over a LAN. But this is securely done via HTTPS, right? And it's accelerated, it's sync accelerated by Google Quick. So that kind of accelerates the syncing process. The remote client's hard drive acts like the big cache, and only the modified content is synced back to the on-prem storage, right? This is an incredibly flexible and economical solution to support all resolutions. The limitation only being the remote edit client's internet speed. So, no matter how heavy or dense the files are and the internet speed is slow, the worst that can happen is actually the time to sync will be longer, but it's 100% doable, right? So there's really no limitations theoretically, right? And we've seen this work in we've also introducing Dave, if you could take it to the next slide, please.
Sure.
Thanks. So, Daryl just mentioned the media browser. When we have demoed this to the channel, we've seen some incredible interest with a media browser or a RAP bundle, which we plan to do, right? It's not to say that you need media browser to run the RAP. If you have a MAM, you can still run your media browser. And one of the most important things I forgot to mention, and I do apologize for this, is that as much as we'd like you to run the RAP with Scale Logic storage, the RAP is actually storage agnostic. So you can run this with any storage or any MAM that you already have in your workflow. Plus, the RAP does not just have a pandemic play, it's got a post-pandemic play as well, where you can use it and do away with your WeTransfer and Dropbox fees. So so that much for RAP. The media browser is an incredibly easy and simple to use tool, right? So most NLE users will not need any training or downtime. It's very intuitive, right? It's very easy for metadata indexing, searching, and editing, right? You can play back all sorts of broadcast and consumer video formats. You just basically right-click, right, and change the formats for the media browser. We are including 3 licenses of media browser for no charge with every Scale Logic device that we sell. Thanks, Dave. If you could take me to the next slide.
Sure.
Thank you. So, just real quick, storage is boring, but that's what we do, and we would like to talk about the NX2 NAS, which is our flagship product, right? It's a rock solid system based on enterprise level ZFS file system. We have our own secret IP layer on it. We focus primarily on performance, data protection, and disaster recovery. So we have we offer unlimited snapshots. We offer built-in replication and multiple options for backup and offsite data protection and business continuity. It's also, even though it's feature-rich and ready to go in as primary shared storage, it's also incredibly economical, where you can use it as a 2-tier storage under the likes of Isilon, Quantum, or Avid. And we've successfully sold multiple petabytes of the NX2 in those environments as well. Dave, if you could get me to the next slide, please. Thank you. So the ZFS file system is a self-healing file system, best of breed data integrity features. We have high performance NAS, so we do all the way from a 12 drive spinning disks to 36 drive spinning disk chassis to 2U all NVMe device, right? And you can hang up to 5 JBODs on the back of the NX2, scaling all the way to 5 petabytes. Pretty invisible, right? So there's no disruption of workflow when you add storage to scale up. From the high performance perspective, we support 100 gig backbone, right? We support, like I mentioned earlier, unlimited snapshots and P5 synchronization, which you don't need a separate appliance for the P5. The P5 is integrated right onto the NX2. That does away with the need for a second appliance, right? And we are continually optimizing the performance for our NX2. So we're happy to share with any of you folks if you would like to see our performance metrics on how the NX2 all the way from our spinning disks to all NVMe perform. We'd be happy to share that with you. Thanks, Dave.
Okay, thanks, Al. So I'm just going to say a few words over a couple of slides just to fill in the detail on the Archiware P5 product. So P5, as I said, it's a software suite. It's already installed on the NX2, so you just point your browser at the right port and pull up the web interface for P5. P5 will manage your data across archive, backup, and replication via P5 synchronized there on the right-hand side. P5 backup is pretty much what you expect from a backup product. It can back up to both disk, so you can target that at some NX2 storage or to some other scale logic storage. We drive tape hardware, so that includes from standalone LTO drives up to libraries of any scale with any number of drives in. And we also support a number of different cloud vendors, including Backblaze B2. So backup is kind of bread and butter. Everybody needs a backup of their important storage. P5 will do that, but what I want to focus on is the P5 archive module in the middle, because archiving is about moving or migrating data away from your more expensive primary edit storage where you have very high performance, but the cost is higher for that performance. So you don't want to leave too much data there for work that maybe is completed and nobody is accessing. So P5 Archive gives you that workflow. It can move that data off to either some other cheaper disk storage, to LTO tape hardware, or to cloud storage, or any combination of those different types of storage. And importantly, what it does is it indexes everything that you archive. It can create previews, proxies, capture metadata, so that although this data is maybe moved onto LTO tapes or it's sitting in some cloud storage, in the web browser, you can still access it and see it as if it's still on a file system. You just need to use that access to choose what you want to recover, and then P5 will automatically handle the accessing cloud storage, moving tapes or whatever to get that data that you want to recover back onto disk again. So it's a full round trip workflow about getting your data where it needs to be without having data unnecessarily taking up space where other data needs to come in there and take its place. So that's P5 Archive. And then, as Al mentioned, we have the P5 synchronized product for replication. You could use this, for example, to replicate data between two NX2 devices on different sites. It can move data across the LAN or WAN, copy or move. It can do things like create snapshots using that best of breed ZFS file system. We can track previous file versions. And importantly, all of these modules work together in the same web interface with the same monitoring tools so that you can create workflows through backup, archive, and replication that work together and do exactly what you want in quite a bespoke way. This slide
so Dave, I'm going to interrupt you real quick. Dave, I'm going to interrupt you real quick. I really apologize. You are breaking up pretty badly, so for the attendees, I sincerely apologize. This is the new normal, right? This is our new work environment. So, Dave, if you have somebody in the home streaming Netflix, I guess that can go on a pause for a bit. But I'll let you get back right on.
Okay. Well, how am I sounding now, Al? If I continue, can you hear me pretty well for the next couple of minutes? Do you think? Obviously, you can't predict that. But
it is pretty bad, Dave. It is pretty bad. Daryl, can you take over from this?
Sure. I think this is just Dave's wrap-up slide. P5 backup and P5 archive components can utilize LTO tape, disk, and cloud. Numerous cloud providers are supported. And then the P5 synchronized, this is a disk-to-disk technology. So that's why we don't have a cloud listed over there. So P5 is just going to be for the disk. Next slide, Dave.
There you go.
Everything is done with a browser-based config. Archiware is known to be one of the easiest tools out there to administer. Very easy to use with email job reporting. and easy to use GUI tools. Also introduction, Mac side and Windows side tools to drive the archive as well.
How's my audio at the moment?
P5.
Shall I try and talk around this one, or am I still pretty patchy?
Go ahead.
Yeah, just really quickly then. This is just illustrating a example. Interrupt me if my voice disappears again. This is just illustrating that we might have P5 running up here with some tape hardware attached, maybe NX2 storage sitting on various places on the LAN, and you can create a workflow whereas all of these disparate pieces of storage can be backed up and archived to this tape library. But for the tape library, you could swap that for some disk storage or some cloud storage. Very flexible in the way that we can set the workflow up. And over to you, Al, just to say a few words about Backblaze.
Dave, you did break up, so if it's done, you could transfer to the Backblaze slide.
Yeah, the Backblaze slide is there, but I guess it's slow to send the video.
Sure. So, while Dave tries to transition to the Backblaze slide, I'll talk about Backblaze really quick, right? So for this presentation, we're partnered with Backblaze for cloud integration, right? Storage to cloud. And we, ScaleLogic is introducing an incredibly economical bundle. So we are offering 96 terabytes of on-prem storage with 100 terabytes of Backblaze cloud archive, 5 media browser licenses, Archiware, and 5 wrap licenses with the Linux appliance for $70,000 list. So that is just an incredible price per gigabyte, per usable gigabyte for online and cloud storage, and that's the special we're offering. It's going to be open-ended for a while. We're not retail centric, so there's no time limitation on this retail. On this deal. It's very easy to get started with Backblaze. Literally starts off in seconds, right? It's reliable and it protects your data. 11 nines. That's 99.9999999 whatever percentage of security reliability, right, for you. So I've read articles on cloud integration where they say you're more likely to be struck by lightning 400 times before you can lose data on the cloud. So kudos to the cloud for that. Just talked about the affordable bundle that we're offering. All right, and it's really infinite. You could just scale out as much as you want to, right? And it's ready to integrate with hundreds of workflow tools. It's very simple to integrate. And you can extend your workflow with any native or S3 compliant API. So that's for Backblaze, and I'm going to toss it back to Daryl this time because Dave is having internet access to field any questions that may have come up through this presentation.
Yeah, thanks for forwarding the slide. So as we wrap up, we only have a couple of minutes. We just wanted to bring back the diagram. What we went through today, it all starts down there on the on-prem storage with the NX2 Ethernet-based storage with the Archiware built in, and then connection to the wrap. You'll have some on-prem storage clients that have to go very fast. They're housed in the post-production environment building. And then over on the right, you've got all of your remote access. You can work with your studio clients with the link sharing. You can work with your remote editors utilizing the wrap client and the sync. And you can work on the Archiware archiving to Backblaze utilizing the integrated tools.
Hey, Daryl, I got a couple questions I can ask you right now. So one of the questions is, can I take my laptop in the field, and how does it work when I return to internet access?
Yeah, so you're talking about the remote editor over on the right there that's running the wrap client. Yes, you can completely just disconnect your laptop, go to the airport, head out into the field, add more stuff to your SSD because you're going to have some sort of SSD or Thunderbolt array with you. Add more stuff, and when you come back to internet access and you plug that in, the wrap client will automatically discover that you're back on the internet, and it will start to sync the changes and the files back.
Super, thanks, Daryl. There's one more for you. How big can the Adobe projects be with the syncing?
Really no limit. Home internet, your download speeds are faster than your upload speeds. This works quite nice when you're downloading the new material. It's really what you can do, overnight if there's a new project shoot and you set the wrap client to sync overnight. It's probably all going to be there by morning. It can be any size. It's really up to the internet connection, what it can push.
Super. And Daryl, we got one more question that I'd like to fit in. How versatile is wrap with other storage and MEMS?
Other storage and MEMS, yes. So the wrap server that you see in the middle there, this is our Linux appliance, comes ready built with the wrap server software. The storage that we put to it just needs to be able to be mounted on a Linux server. So it is storage agnostic to the point of getting your storage mounted to that server. So completely wide open. You might have some Thunderbolt arrays or some other arrays that you have to mount in addition to your main on-prem storage. And this is all capable within the wrap system. If you looked closely at my wrap client, I actually had several different NAS systems that I was addressing. So on the MAM front, if your MAM workflow is handling remote already and doesn't need that syncing aspect, you may not get a full advantage to wrap. But if you do need that sync aspect or that sharing to your clients, then that can meld up and it can play nicely with your current MAM.
Thanks, Daryl. And we just got one more question, and I'm just being greedy about this, so I apologize, attendees. The question is, can you buy NX2 without wrap? Absolutely, you may. You can buy the NX or the ZX, which is the exact flavor of NX2, only it has high availability, or the wrap, or any ScaleLogic product or device standalone. Not a problem at all. Reach out to us, sales@scalelogicinc.com, and we'd be very happy to quote you based on your workflow requirements. With that, I'll try to get it over to Dave. Dave, try to give it another shot.
Yeah, how am I sounding? Can you hear me over there? Other side of the Atlantic?
Yeah, just about. Go ahead.
Yeah, there were a couple of questions I was just reading on the Archiware front, and they're pretty much the same questions. So that was, I'll read the second one, asking, can P5 archive to my Quantum Superloader tape library? So I just wanted to say that we support all tape libraries and standalone drives from all vendors. So Tandberg, Overland, SpectraLogic, Quantum, etc. We support all of them. And we support multiple tape drives in tape libraries to improve the throughput or to provide cloning. So if you're archiving data and you're going to delete it from disk, you can clone across 2 tapes. So you have redundancy on the tape media. So if you have a tape fail, you're not going to lose any files. But the general point is we're completely hardware agnostic when it comes to LTO tape. That's everything I wanted to say. Hopefully you heard it.
Dave, I'd also request you to just give the attendees your email address, because you did break up badly there, so they may want to send a follow-up email question to you.
Yeah, sure. If I just on this slideshow, if you just watch the first slide, then that might be quite handy, because that's got all of our email addresses on, so people can just jot those down. But we will email the contents of the presentations to everybody anyway, so you'll get them there too.
Thank you, Dave. And on behalf of ScaleLogic and Daryl and the rest of the team, we really, really appreciate your time, and hope you gentlemen, all ladies and gentlemen, all stay safe and healthy. And if you have any questions, feel free to forward them over. Over to you, Dave, for a goodbye.
Yeah, so thanks for your time from me as well, everybody. Thanks for watching the content. I hope you found it interesting. Please share the video links that you'll receive with colleagues if it's going to be interesting for them. Get in touch with me with any Archiware questions. Thanks very much. Goodbye.